Hi, and welcome back to RV Adventures Big and Small. Today we have two treats for you. Judy, in our outdoor kitchen here at Outdoor Resort Indio, is going to show you how to make Italian beef sandwiches, just like the ones you get from Portillo's. And I'm going to show you how to make a fantastic, delicious bourbon cocktail that you will love. Stay tuned.
Make Italian beef sandwiches, and if you've never had them, they're really fantastic. It's a regional Chicago recipe, and we lived 2 hours away, 2.5 hours away from Chicago. So the restaurant I worked in made them, and they were fantastic. So that's where we fell in love with them, but they're difficult to find because we're not near Chicago. So I'm going to go ahead and make that. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut an onion and slice it up. And then I'm going to do this in the Instant Pot. Now, you can do it in a crock pot too. What I like about the Instant Pot is it's very quick, and especially when you're doing a big beef roast in it. And I apologize. Speaking of big beef roast, you're supposed to use 3.5 pound roast. I went to the store yesterday. I bought it. I'm walking out here and I'm looking and I'm like, that's 2.47 pounds. Oh, so no. Yes, as usual, I am the imperfect chef and I didn't get the right size, but we're going to go ahead with it anyway. It's pretty close. And, but if I were to do it again, yes, 3.5 pounds at least. I don't know why, but that's my luck with cooking. If you've watched any other videos, you've noticed probably that things aren't always the way they're supposed to be. So I'm just going to slice them thinly. You can use a red onion. I have a white one, so that's what I'm using. And we're going to saute this. So I'm going to saute right in the Instant Pot. And if you haven't done that, it's great. It works out beautiful. One thing I love about Instant Pots too is the stainless material that they use. It is the easiest thing to clean. So if you happen to burn something on the bottom or whatever, just a breeze to clean up. Now I'm going to go ahead and put some butter in the bottom of it. I'm probably going to use 2 tablespoons and for the saute. Take this piece out, hit saute. There we go. And it'll start heating up. Doesn't take very long to do it. And I will throw the onions in, and then we'll also throw the garlic in a little while. Smells good. Smells like an onion. And I will probably smell like an onion too. And we'll play cards tonight, and everybody will probably be going, what's that smell? Me and my onions. So Gordon, you love Italian beefs too, don't you?
Yes, ma'am.
And what do you put on yours?
Pepperoncini.
Right here.
And mustard.
And mustard. Some people put cheese on it, which to me is an abomination. But if you're in the Chicago area, they use a lot of what they call jardiniere, which is a pickled vegetable. And it's fine. It's just not what I'm used to eating on it. I like pepperoncini and mustard just like you. So that's the way it should be. But yeah, if you're from the area and there is a very famous restaurant that actually they have one not far from here. I don't know if I'm allowed to mention the name of it. And around the Chicago area that just makes the best. And they actually ship it out to you too if you don't want to go through all this trouble, but it really isn't any trouble. It just takes a little while, especially with an Instant Pot. It's done in no time. Okay, so we will start letting that cook up. Now what I'm going to do too is I'm going to take the beef, and I've never done this before, but I was reading some recipes and they suggested cutting it into chunks. So I'm going to give that a try. It might be a little easier to separate it out. Let's go check the onions. I don't want them to burn. Yep, they're doing fine. So if you have regional food that you grew up with that you can't find other places too easily, why don't you let us know? It was the hardest thing. Gordon looked for really a few years before we actually got some Italian beef into the Des Moines area, but they kept calling it Italian beef and it was not. So when you're looking for that something special, it can be hard to get. And if you can make it yourself, then you don't have to worry about that. I've never had a Philly cheesesteak sandwich, I don't think. I know people are very particular about those. Okay, I'm going to cut this, I think, into like 4 chunks.
What kind of beef do you have there?
Oh, this is chuck roast. And it's what I've always used. Almost every recipe I've ever seen for Italian beef calls for chuck roast. I don't know. Using an Instant Pot, you'd think it tenderizes most meats pretty well. You might be able to use a different kind of roast for it, but I've always used chuck roast. And what I'm going to do with this is that when the onions are a little bit more done, is I'll go ahead and put these pieces in and brown them a little bit. I think it brings the flavor out better. Okay. And I think I will put a little bit more. Ugh, that was bad with the raw. That was not good, people. I cannot use that butter for anything else because I put a knife, I cut it with a knife that was raw beef on it. That's probably not what you should do. And I will go ahead and add some garlic now too. I'm going to do 3 cloves worth. And I believe each table or teaspoon is 1 clove on here. Well, that's true. We like our Italian beef real garlicky. I've seen some recipes that even call for like 6 cloves. I didn't want to go quite that far, but you know, be sure to stay to the end also, because Gordon is going to show you how to make a wonderful bourbon cocktail. It's his own concoction. There's going to be a lot of flavoring added to this, so your meat's going to have a lot of flavor, but beef can always use some salt and pepper at very minimum. You can see it doesn't take very long to get the beef browning. I just think it gives it a little something extra, and probably tastes a little better when you caramelize the meat a little bit. The onions are definitely getting done. What we will be putting in there next is some pepperoncini and pepperoncini juice, Worcestershire sauce, and beef broth. And here's the real kicker. Good seasoned Italian salad dressing mix is really good in it. It adds a lot of flavor. It's got most of the kind of seasoning you want in there. This has really been super easy and yummy too to do it. So what we're going to want is a quarter of a cup of the pepperoncini juice. And if you're familiar with cooking in a instant pot, I think I'll put this in the bigger one to carry it over there. Well, actually, it takes a quarter of a cup of the Worcestershire sauce too, so let's go ahead and get that now. Helps if you take the cap off. And Worcestershire sauce, as I understand it, pretty much always makes beef taste better. I don't know why, but that's what I understand. And then you need a cup of beef broth. And you know, when you're using an instant pot, you almost always need at least a cup of liquid. So this is a cup and a half. And it's just heating everything up on that saute setting. And then what you do, which is sort of different, but you put a whole bunch of these in there with it. So I'm going to put probably about half a jar. And last but not least is the Italian seasoning. And just mix that in. You could have put that in your liquid, you know, whenever you want to. Just get that in there, that's all. Should be stirred around pretty good. Now we're going to put the Instant Pot lid on. And we're going to cancel because we don't want it sauteing anymore. We're going to pressure for 50 minutes under normal. And when it comes up to pressure, then it'll start cooking. So it doesn't take quite as long because everything in there is hot. But I'm going to say it'd probably take maybe 10 minutes. What you'll see is this button back here will pop up. And you need to put it here to vent. And then when it pops up, then the pressure's built up and it'll start cooking. So we'll be back here in 55 minutes or so and see how it's coming along. Well, it's done. It's beeped or whatever. So now I'm going to go ahead. It's on a keep warm thing. I'm going to go ahead and release the steam. Out here it's, oh, it smells good. Out here it's a lot better than in the house. And that's just releasing it. And if you see here, the little button is still up. So when it's ready, when it's released, it'll pop back down. Totally released. You smell that? Smells good. What we'll do now is we'll go ahead and we'll put the meat into a pan and shred it. And hopefully it comes apart real easy. It's supposed to. I'll show you a little thing about the Instant Pot that a lot of people don't know, and I didn't know it for a while. But when you take this lid off, you have to put it down somewhere, and it's usually got water in the top or steam. And these handles here have holes, and it's designed to actually hold your lid. People go, I didn't know that. Yeah. Pop, it just went down. So now we can take the lid off and see what I mean? It holds right in there or on this side. Looks beautiful, doesn't it? I think because we browned it before. Now look how easily that tears apart. That is some tender beef. And it was just a chuck roast, not an expensive cut. I think it was maybe $5.99 a pound. Everybody has their own way of pulling pork or this. Whatever way works for you works for me. Because now that it's cooked, like, it's disappeared now. But there was a little hunk of fat. Here we go. That I want to get rid of. So I'll just put that in there. Because I don't like fat. I don't think most people like just a chunk of fat. But I've never done it. But I've seen on the internet where sometimes people will take a hand mixer and go in with the mixing blades and shred their food like that. I've never done it. Then when you serve the sandwich, you put it on, you can put it on a hoagie roll, you can put it on whatever you like, meat-wise, bread-wise, but I like a baguette or something really crispy and like that. So then you're going to have the au jus to put on it too. Some people in Chicago, some of the companies dip the whole sandwich in there. It makes for a terrible mess, but I'm sure it tastes wonderful. Because this is hot, I'm not going to handle it. And Gordon went and bought this. It's a really nice, is that enough or is that too? That's enough, isn't it? Too much?
Yeah, too much.
You say that now, but got nice and juicy. Yeah, you better lean over. Tastes like an Italian beef?
Exactly.
Really good.
Perfect.
Well, there you go, folks. Guess I did okay with this. I think it was a good idea to strain the onions out, too. And that bread looks pretty good. The bread is important to me. The better your bread taste, I think the better your sandwiches too. You can, I mean, I see people use all kinds of basically white bread hoagie rolls and I don't like them. Okay, well there you have it. That's how you make a Chicago style Italian beef sandwich. I can't wait to have mine.
Okay, here we go. This is what we've been waiting for. I'm not exactly sure what we should name this, but I was thinking of calling it the Bourbon Cocktail. But Kraken. Kraken Lodge is the name of our coach. That's why I'd call it the Kraken. But the Kraken may confuse people thinking there's Kraken rum in it. Okay, because there is a rum called Kraken, which probably was named after our coach. Or maybe whatever. Anyway, it's a cranberry orange bourbon cocktail, which actually goes really good in a martini glass too. But anyway, I'm going to be making it in one of these because this is the only glass we have for any kind of liquor. Okay, first thing you do, make sure you measure this out exactly. 2 ounces of bourbon, and I'm using McFarland's Reserve Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. 2 ounces. 2 ounces of Kirkland Cranberry Juice, no sugar added. 1 ounce of orange juice. 1/2 ounce Kirkland maple syrup. Not sponsored by Kirkland or Costco in any way, by the way. 1/2 ounce. Couple dashes of aromatic bitters. These, by the way, are from Trader Joe's. This is the best way to get your cherries. Amereno, is that how you pronounce that? Cherries with stems. I'll show you what they look like, but first we're going to stir this up a bit. Now, I had somebody say, oh, it looks like tomato juice. It ain't tomato juice, I'll tell you that. Now we're getting kind of low. Hopefully we have some in here. I think we do. But wouldn't that be funny if we don't? You know what?
Route?
I think. Let me show you what it looks like in there. All nice and thick and syrupy. And guess what? There's none in there. Anyway, they're very good. And just a little dab of that stuff in there is good too. Next, ice. That's good. Easy, quick to make. Some people might add a little bit of water to this just so it's not quite as strong, but I like it like this. It's good sipping cocktail. That sandwich tasted fantastic. As you could probably tell, I was very happy to be eating that. Tasted just like the Chicago Italian beef sandwiches that we had many years ago. And it was extremely good. So anyway, thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Cheers.